Hey, Alisa, how you doing? All right, I've got your ad up here. It's a good ad. I think it took guts for you to post this ad because it's very, very, very unusual. So much so that I did a little research and found out that this ad was not run in the United States. It's actually run in Malaysia, and that's going to kind of give a little bit of a foundation to one of the questions I'm going to ask you to respond to in this video. So I think, yeah, it's definitely symmetrical balance. And I don't think the word Jeep over here is enough that we would consider this to be asymmetry. I think this is a good example of symmetrical balance. I think that your description is good. I think the emphasis based on the converging facial structures of the camel and the um, that's not a wolf, actually. I believe it's a Siberian Husky. I think that's what I read in the research. So, to me, it looks like a German Shepherd. So, I mean, so we've got three. We've got the description as a Siberian Husky. Me, I see a German Shepherd, and you're seeing wolf. Does that point to effectiveness? Is that? I mean, I don't think it's a great ad. I really don't. I think there's just too much questioning going on here. And again, that's going to lead to one of my questions. But at any rate, it's not a terrible ad by any means. I've got two questions. And by the way, you did a fantastic job describing this in terms of emphasis. Um, uh, Oops, sorry about that. Contrasts and balance. So really good job. I think you're cultivating a wonderful technique, really great skill in describing design, and that's a really important characteristic for a designer. All designers are able to look at an ad and really be able to really dig deep, dissect it, and really analyze it to the nth degree, so to speak. So I think you're well on your way that based on your writing this week and last. So good job. Keep up the great job there. Okay, so I've got two questions regarding this ad. Number one has to do with scale, and number two has to do with expectations of the audience. Let's address that one first. So when we talk about expectations of the audience, so is there a difference between the way an ad is going to be perceived if it's run in, let's say, the United States or in Malaysia or a different country? Should there be a reasonable expectation that the ad will be received differently depending on where it's run, and what are those differences based on? Okay, that's question number one. Question number two is this. Let's talk about scale. All right, so in this ad right here, we don't know how big the ad is because there's not anything indicating the picture plane, the size of the ad itself. Okay, so typically when I place something for presentation that's got a white background and I'm placing it on a white background, I will typically just put a little thin border, a little one stroke, one pixel stroke around it. So just not to affect the design at all, but just so we can see the size of the picture plane and in relationship to the elements that comprise the ad, right? So my question is this: would this ad be perceived differently? Watch my cursor. If the picture plane were like this, we start right here. That's the corner right there. If it went like this, or would it be perceived differently if this was the picture plane, if it was this big? Okay, now I want you to think about it and I want you to describe how it would be received if the size of the picture plane were different. In other words, if we're changing the scale of the visual elements within the picture plane. Okay, think about it and give me your best response. All right, Alisa, great job. Thank you very much.